Welcome to the AI Applied podcast. Guys, we have a lot of exciting announcements coming down the pipe. New podcasts we're starting, incredible guests we're bringing on. But the most exciting thing for me, perhaps, is actually something that Conor has just launched that he has been working on for a very long time. So, two things have happened. Number one, Conor has officially left NYU Stern, where he was the chief AI architect. He was basically pivotal in bringing AI to NYU. And did so much education in this space. So that's really like a huge step we're going to talk about. And number two, Conor has launched a completely revised edition of the AI Mindset course. This is something that has famously been taken by tens and tens of thousands, maybe over 100,000. You can talk to the numbers of people who have taken this course for transformation and transforming their mindset inside of the organization. We're going to get into all of this. First, Conor, tell us about leaving NYU Stern and moving into kind of going full-time on AI mindset and where you're at with that.
Yeah, thanks, Jaeden. Yeah, Jaeden, it's been a journey, right? Which I've sort of you've been kind of behind the scenes on this. So we've been waiting to talk about this for a long time. So obviously I've been talking to you about this for months. Yeah, guys, I've been at NYU Stern. I got my MBA from there. So all told, I've been there 18 years. So it's hard to leave a place after 18, but I love Stern so much, right? It's it really is family to me. I'm super passionate about it. I was dean of students there for many years, chief AI architect there for years. And it's a phenomenal place. And yeah, the reason to step away was just super, super clear. So I have a company, AI Mindset, and we train large enterprises on, and small enterprises too, but on sort of a completely new behavioral based approach, which by the way, have some really cool things. Actually, I just remembered to share with you as well, Jaeden. But just on the NYU front, the great thing is NYU Stern is in amazing hands with the new dean, the new leadership, all that kind of stuff. They love AI, and it really felt okay, and Jaeden, you and I have been talking, and look, I'm going to say this out loud into the microphone, maybe immediately regret it, but it's been about 3 or 4 months, as you know, that I've been I gotta step. I can't do both. I can't do both. And so as soon as I sort of was kind of talking to them about their plan, I'm my conscience is super clear on all this because I think Stern is phenomenal. I think they're doing a phenomenal job on all this. But AI Minds is just growing like crazy, Jaeden. And I'm absolutely thrilled about that. And we have this new course, and we've we train entire giant 10,000 person companies end to end. I think I was mentioning to you or put on LinkedIn, I've worked with leadership at 4 of the top of the Fortune 10 companies. I've done something where I've this giant thing I do with Google isn't public yet, so it's hard to say that one, but it was essentially involved the entirety of Google leadership, which is tens of thousands of people. The one that is, and I can't speak too much of this yet, Jaeden, but what we did make public was I worked with Microsoft. We created a research project for 6 months last year. We worked 6 months weekly on this research project about could we work with an organization to sort of get them using Copilot. So essentially just, another large language model better than what they were doing before in a very, very short amount of time. And so we worked with Gap. That's all public. That came out in November. Microsoft, put out videos about it, all that kind of stuff.
Yep, saw the presentations.
And amazing stuff. And Jaeden, I cannot. The results are still embargoed, but whoo-wee, they are good.
No way. Which, by the way, I just want to say is massive because right now we're seeing both Anthropic and OpenAI make massive pushes on the enterprise front. And the fact that you were able to see those results with Microsoft and with their Copilot, I mean, honestly, you're kind of their secret weapon there. So for other organizations and enterprises looking to adopt, I mean, I think it's kind of a secret weapon if people can get access to your course on this. OpenAI, their approach is basically they just hired, I don't know if you saw, but all of the consulting firms, like McKinsey and all of them, and they're doing this massive push to use the consultants to get it inside of organizations. And Anthropic at the same time, they're doing their kind of software approach. They also have, I think, a partnership with Accenture and ServiceNow and some other players, but they're doing this huge push where they're trying to build software specifically for enterprises to get it more embedded in there. So everyone's making the push, but I think you're one of the first people that had, this huge 6-month-long research project. And from a research angle, actually figuring out how to implement it. You might have cracked the code before OpenAI and Anthropic because they're just hiring the consultants to do it.
So, and that's the funny thing, Jaeden, and again, I'm not really trying to toot my own horn, although you know that I love to toot my own horn. My God, my wife, Liz, is just Conor, enough. But, microphone's in front of my mouth. What are you going to do? But yeah, and we've worked sort of like with McKinsey at scale. We work with PwC. We work with Deloitte. We work with a lot of companies at AI Mindset as well. And here's the thing that so Gene, when I go out and like I'm on the road just like all the time with just like tons of big companies and yeah, and this course that we have that's gone out to tens of thousands of people. In the end, I think we've actually calculated that we've trained something like almost like 250,000 people at this point.
Oh my gosh, that's
But
amazing.
here's the crazy thing. I'm going to tell everybody right now what you need to do, and then you won't need me. Okay. The idea here is simply this. People are treating AI like a digital transformation when it acts nothing like a digital transformation. That's it. This is a software that behaves like a human. And yet, Jaden, everybody is treating this like they've done it with every other technology, like, oh well, let's make sure that we have like champions, and here's the lighthouse cases, and just make sure everybody has the tool. And Jaden, we're 3 years in, it does not work. So I'm just going to give everybody my playbook right now. I don't care,
We
like,
want it for
because this is
free,
what everybody
Connor.
should
This is what we subscribe to on the AI Applied podcast.
that's right, value. So essentially what we do is we just tell people like, guys, like essentially the problem is not about the tool and proficiency. It is about the brain. That is it. This is a behavioral shift. It's not about that. Jaden, we haven't done use cases in like 2 years. We do
Mm.
process instead. Why? Because use cases are all like moving from, because you have to move from like encouraging people, like the Fiverr memo and the Shopify memo. Hey guys, come on, find your use cases. Guys, we're 3 years in, it doesn't work. You have to get people to shift their behavior. Now that's sort of our secret sauce. Like, how do you get people to change behavior? Not just that you have to shift behavior, but
Yeah.
how do you do it? And I'll just tell you, the way that we do it is to get people understanding that what their brains are actually seeing when they're looking at something like a large language model is they're actually looking at, they think they're looking at a search engine. And so they go into this whole thing, this whole mindset where it's like they use it like a search engine, which is command, response, walk away, right? That's how you use a search engine. And your brain literally, because your brain works on visual cues, it literally thinks it's looking at a search engine. That's why adoption is so low. So we take people through these frameworks and then tell them how to like rewire how they think and what they see. And it just, again, Google doesn't need me to teach them AI. Microsoft doesn't need me to teach them AI. These companies that I work with, they don't need NASA. They don't need me to teach them AI. What they need is sort of like, how do we scale this up? And last thing I'll say, Jane, this just came out. You might have seen this AI fluency index from Anthropic that came out. And just think about what they called it, right? They didn't call it a set of proficiencies, which you do with every other tech. They called it a set of behaviors.
Mm.
It's what we've been saying for years. Jaden, it's just about shifting behavior.
So talk to me about like I think a lot of people, maybe if they haven't already taken it, or maybe they've taken it but they haven't gotten everyone in their organization to take it, which really is I think where you see the most value with your course. What are some of the biggest changes that you've added to the course? Like what are the like you've done this big launch and you've changed all these things. What are the biggest updates? Maybe if someone took it in the past, is it worth taking it again? Or if they've taken it in the past and they want perhaps their full organization taken again, like what's the new and improved, what's the latest and greatest?
Yeah, it's a good question because a lot of it, I mean, there's a lot of fundamentals haven't changed because it's all about behavior. It's not actually about the latest tech. However,
Mhm.
there are some big changes in 2026 that we are now incorporating. And so we have to have sort of like the mindset shift and all that kind of stuff. That has to sort of like be in there. And we always sort of like make, companies when they want to sort of like customize it, we're like, okay, this part has to be in it. But Jaden, you and I, it's almost like if we looked at the sort of trajectory of our podcast over the last, like, what is it, like 2 years now or something like that, that
Mhm.
we're doing this. You remember how like we something will happen and then we demo it. We're like, oh well, did it work or did it not work? So the biggest change I would say is that a lot of these things now work. So I
Yeah.
was always like, yeah, don't worry about the tech. But now I'm like, hey guys, you actually have to worry about the tech. And the reason you have to worry about the tech is because the tech is going to impact how you work. It's no longer like, hey, check out this cool, Project Mariner demo from Google or something. Like in this course, like we demo for folks that are non-technical. So maybe you guys are already flying on this and you don't need this module, but for people who are non-technical, how does Claude Cowork actually work? Like what gets you started on it? AI Studio, like how do you actually like vibe code like stuff that will actually be useful for you? AI Studio Live, like what does it look like to have kind of like a companion over your shoulder? Notebook LM, all these things that maybe people have sort of been like, oh, I made like a podcast, but a lot of people don't actually go to that site and actually do it. And it's not about making the podcast; it's about changing your workflow. Jaden, it is amazing. You go on Gemini and you throw something into deep research, and you all of a sudden you wait 9 minutes and you come out with something like extraordinary, and then you go into Notebook LM and then you have it create infographics. The slide decks that Nano Banana
Yeah.
does are I couldn't do it even if you gave me 3 weeks. And all of a sudden, you now have an end to end thing. Like we have guys, and kind of like pulling back the curtain, maybe a little too far, but we've changed the way that we work with clients because like we now can create something for them that's totally bespoke to them.
Mhm.
I think the biggest change is just all the stuff that we've seen in demo over the last, call it 18 months, are here now.
100%. No, I think I've seen this and I've talked to a lot of people about this. It feels like with ChatGPT 5.2 and Opus 4.6, basically those two models, it's everyone's like, oh, like 5.1, like ChatGPT 5, everyone's like, oh, what's the big deal? 5.1, what's the big deal? 5.2, like, oh, just little incremental. Guys, I'm telling you, these two models and what they unlocked, and also, I mean, we're gonna like what Google's doing and a lot of other companies are doing
Yeah.
too right now. Like we're all kind of in the same place in the industry, unlocking the ability to have basically like these swarms, like these agent swarms where they have multiple agents doing multiple parts of a task, speeding things up. It basically unlocked doing computer use. So being able to take over your computer screen and get things done. And it unlocked like the efficiencies and everything for vibe coding. Like I think we hit a point where I wouldn't be in the past. I'm like you, Connor, where I've been like, oh, this is where we're going in the future. Don't worry. This isn't
Mhm,
perfect.
mhm.
No, guys, like it is good. Like if you are not using it for a huge chunk of your work, you absolutely can now. And if you tried something in the past and it didn't quite work, it probably works today. Like the demos and the things we were
All
excited
right.
for a year ago and a year and a half ago are finally actually realized. And it definitely drives me crazy. It drives me nuts that like we saw these demos back then and a lot of people tried them. And I think they got
Yep.
jaded because they're like, oh, like it doesn't work. Guys, it works today. And if nothing else, I would say be happy that you saw it or tried it back then, because at least your mind was in the right frame of like, okay, what is going to be possible? And I think a lot of that is now possible today. So I'm pretty
It's so
excited.
right. It's so right. It's so right, Jaden. And everything that we do in this course is stuff that I actually use. And Jaden, to your point, like I kind of wasn't using some of these things as I'm like, but guys, if you're not using Gemini like when you're in Chrome, or if you're not using the Claude extension in Chrome, or guys, just go to AI Studio Live. Just literally Google AI Studio Live. And what you will see is something there that you can share your screen with. And then it's like you have a companion looking over your shoulder. I'm in there with like CapCut. I'm like, wait, what do I press? They're like, do you see like the templates button up there? I'm like, you mean over here? Yeah, yeah, over there. Now Connor, click that. Okay, I clicked it. Okay, now you see Jaden, it's miraculous, borderline miraculous. So I think the biggest change that we've seen, and that's why we wanted to redo this course in 2026 like this, is first of all, the fundamentals, like we get people actually shifting how they work. And that's critical. That's why we were able to do it at scale. But also, to your point, if you have not tried these tools of late, or if you tried it and it didn't really work, and then you're like, oh, you kind of forget about it, go revisit it, because these things that we're talking about, Jaden and I actually are using every day. And we're not sort of like the cutting edge developer kind of people. We are just people using this. Jaden's building AI box. I build AI mindset, and we're using these tools to actually build our own companies.
Yeah, 100%. So, anyways, if you haven't tried it already, guys, there's a link in the description to the latest update to the mindset course. You absolutely have to get that. And if you've already done it and your organization hasn't, do not leave money on the table. Make sure that everybody is in your organization is taking that course, because it will absolutely transform what you're doing. And honestly, you'll probably get a raise for recommending it to your organization. So I can't guarantee that, right? That's not a guarantee of the course, but it is likely. Okay. So make sure to go check it out. There's a link in the description. Connor, congratulations for the new stepping in full time on AI mindset and the launch of the new course. A lot of people are raving about it. So excited to see the new direction. Everyone, thanks so much for tuning into the podcast. Make sure to leave a rating and review wherever you get your episode, and we will catch you in the next show.